Hello, this is Labyrinth again. So on today, thoughts that been rattling in my head. What on today's What Are We on Earth? What are we doing here on Earth? It's and thinking I'm asking myself, back then in stories we've heard about the Bible and everything, they were living up to 120. Even Moses in the Bible was 120 years old. 120, 123, and they said his eyes were not dim, his strength did not fail him, and he was still strong. You hear stories about Noah coming out of the ark at 600 years old. You hear people living 100, 200. So I come to the realization that something happened. Something somewhere happened where our lifespan is being shortened to just a little bit above 70, 80 years old. So now I now start thinking, why is it so? Why is it about that particular age? You see, by 70, you've almost completed a lifespan. At 70, you've had your kids have grown up, and you've seen your grandkids. And if you're working, you should have retired. So by then you are weak, you're tired. You don't even have the vitality in current day and age. So something must have happened. So just picture this. At 70, back then in the Bible, at 70, some of them are still getting married. So at 70, now you've gotten married, you've given birth to your child has grown, you've retired. You now have time on your hands. When you have that time on your hands, you will not sit down and ask yourself, what am I even doing here? So is this all there is? Just like I asked on the first video, which you can still see on my page. What are we doing here? You start asking, what are we doing here? You now start how you have time on your hands because you don't really need to do much anymore. You've retired. You start asking, what are we doing here? Is this all there is to life? You start having quiet moments to think, and that is what I think powers that be, a bit physical, spiritual, supernatural, I don't know. But something is at play here. Think with me for a moment. Something is at play here. Because if you at 70, you still have your strength, you still have 70 more years to live. That is in a case whereby we live up to 150, 200. You still have 130 years in front of you. You start thinking, what can I do? What is there in this life? You now start thinking within, having more time to think in yourself, within yourself, find out some certain things, decide, think deep, and get to a level whereby you reach these questions. You start asking questions and questions and questions because you still have energy within you because you're basically a youth. You're basically in your youth. So you can start asking the question, asking, so what am I doing here? Um, I think there is more. You start meditating. It will start because once you start asking questions, the universe is designed in such a way that answers will keep coming once you keep asking. Even in a biblical text, it's there. You ask and you shall be answered. You seek and you will find. And the more you seek, the more you get to this enlightenment, the more you find out that a lot of things will stop making sense because you are no longer in a position whereby life is happening to you. You see what is happening in the situation, it is becoming far and far more difficult for you to retire now. Why? Because when you retire, you have time on your hands. So what happens? Everything is being inflated. Things you could do comfortably if you retire at 100K, 150K, you now need close to 600,000 a month for you to be able to retire. And it's getting more difficult and more difficult. And things that you could retire on, you can no longer retire on again. Why? It's putting you in a continuous state of stress, whereby you always have something that is occupying your mind. So why all this noise? That is what I want you viewers to ask. Why all this noise? What are they trying to cloud our minds from actually coming down and looking into? So as these thoughts keep coming, I'm just going to be rattling out questions. I think I am a man in my mid to late 30s. So I think it is time where we should start asking questions. Why? 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 That is where I'm at. Just ask yourself the questions I've raised in this video. Try and ask yourself these questions and be like, what is there? What happened? And I think if together we unify in asking these questions, universal energy will give us more answers. So until the next video, please, I'd like you to like, share, subscribe, and share this video, watch this video with your friends, and let's see whether my questions, whether there are some other people that ask the same questions I'm asking. Thank you very much.